You sexy, beautiful hip cats and dolls out there in YouTube land. I'm the level grinding junkie known as the Anti-Hero Drink. Thank you for tuning in. Within the community of RPG video games, you've had to hear this at least one time. Final Fantasy VII killers. The elite video games that fucking dominate, and fucking destroy the Final Fantasy franchise and series, mostly known and associated with Final Fantasy VII, of course. And two games that constantly keep being brought up are The Legends of Dragoon and Breath of Fire 3. And to a lot of credit, these are both really good games, but not a lot of people played them, and really so much on Breath of Fire 3's part. But people constantly arguing, saying, what's so great about this game, and why is it better than fucking Final Fantasy VII? Well, if you had that query, or if you just feel that it is better than Final Fantasy VII, sit back and I'm about to go explain why. One, Breath of Fire is a sleek and sexy game that not a lot of people will play, and it packs a lot of action in its fucking story, especially at the beginning of the game. You're a fucking dragon, for God's sakes, and you're fucking setting ablaze fucking coal miners who are getting in your way, and you see their charred remains of their fucking crispy bodies laying out on the fucking ground. So if that's not a visual enough for you for the start of the game, it just adds to that. This game constantly packs story, and it just keeps on hitting you fucking hard with things after things after things, and it never becomes chaotic. It's just one fun fucking adventure. You're a fucking dragon. You're knocked out. You're a human now. You're found by a fucking band of thieves. You go around raiding this town to eventually at some point be looked at as the town saviors. You fucking jack from the mayor. The mayor sends fucking hitman after you to assassinate you. You try your best to avoid them as best as you possibly can, and then they eventually catch up with you and beat you to a pulp and leave you for fucking dead. You're found later, and this story just goes from fucking there and on, and it's really exciting. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit that I don't even want to talk about. It's such a great game, people. If you haven't played it, pick it up. It is just fun with a lot of fucking content, and they actually try a lot of interesting things with the story, and there's actual true character development within the game. There's actually a break in time of the game from when you're a kid to you're an adult, and you actually get to go see the development with you, not only with you, but with the friends you actually made when you were a child. That's fucking interesting, and that's just fucking fun. Especially if you love your J-style RPGs, the narrative is there, and it's one of the drawing and focal points of this game. This is why this game is truly, in a lot of regards, this is really hard for me to say because I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. Like, I'll rep 7 to the day I die as doing so much for me for RPG video games. It was the reason why I got into RPG video games. It's the reason I played a lot of the Squaresoft games when I was growing up. It's the fact that I even came in contact with Xenogears. I mean, to me, before Final Fantasy VII, a game was punching somebody or jumping on a cart or jumping on random objects to go either kill enemies or to get power-ups. That was fucking video game for me. And then playing J-style RPGs with just strong narrative, strong character development, and just so much. I even if there's a lot of cliches in it, people, it meant a real lot to me. I enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the narratives. I enjoyed the adventures. It was all great. Those were my epic stories growing up, and it was all because I picked up 7 by accident, and I really got into playing RPGs. But in all regards of how much I love fucking Final Fantasy VII, hands down, Breath of Fire 3 is a better game. It improves on a lot of things that I loved about Final Fantasy VII in this game. And it's not my first RPG, but with a lot of RPGs I grew into loving, they still outrank Final Fantasy VII in a lot of regards. I like the second Wild Arms over Final Fantasy VII, or yeah, I think it's Wild Arms 2, second integer. Moving on, Xenogears definitely, Breath of Fire definitely. It is not to say that Final Fantasy isn't a fun fucking game. I love Final Fantasy, and I understand why we love Final Fantasy, but Breath of Fire really does pack a lot of content, interesting characters, a fun fucking battle system, and it's a game where you can become a fucking dragon, people. Hands down, dragon for the win. And speaking on being a dragon for the fucking win, it brings me into the second game, which is Legends of Dragoon. This game, well, I don't think it's better than Final Fantasy VII. It's a fucking fun game, people. It's an interesting game, and as I said, being an avid RPG player, I have a healthy attitude and a healthy appetite to the cliches of RPG video games. And in this game, it's not too much for me to fucking take in. You play as fucking Dart after a long, arduous journey looking for a black monster that destroyed your family. You come back to your town, you find your childhood friend has been kidnapped, and you go on this arduous adventure. You meet all these interesting people, and it's the lore of this game that's really going to draw you in to the winged people, to the god of death, to the I forgot, it was some type of tree that was giving birth to some type of fruit, to some ultimate god of fucking destruction, and that there's a never setting moon in the game. Like, why I say the lore is really interesting, the story is, like I said, I have a personal healthy appetite for the cliche, but really bad something was sealed away and they didn't really kill it, and it comes back to life, and of course your group and your party needs to actually kill it. Hence to the cliche of this RPG. But aside from that, the characters are interesting and it's fun, and the story between Rose and Dart's father and how their love survived so many years, and even the fact that they die at the end of the game, was just epic to me, and I've never seen anything like that. Of course, until you play Chrono Trigger. Yeah, but I never had anything like that, and it's a really fun and interesting game. But in closing, I'm gonna go say to all the people who hate Final Fantasy VII because it's hyped, we hate it because it's hyped too, but it's still an entertaining game. It's still fun to be had. It's still something that you can enjoy to play. But those are my feelings and those are my thoughts on these games. If you have any feelings, any thoughts, or any opinions on this, please leave a comment below, like, subscribe. As always, I'm the AntiHeroDrink here at RPG Mayhem, dishing out the good news of RPG video games and gaming in general. Stay sexy, you beautiful hip cats and dolls out there.